listening to Chiro Candy, the podcast of sweet chiropractic success. Now, here's your host, Billy Sticker.
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. I know it's a Tuesday. A lot of times we do these on Thursdays, but we're doing this one on Tuesday today. And welcome. I know you're busy, especially Tuesdays. I know a lot of you guys do a lot of admin work and stuff on Tuesdays. We are going to be talking about 12 ways to get new patients without Facebook. This was the title we used in all of our marketing and the emails that we sent out. So you signed up because you wanted to know 12 different ways to get patients without using Meta. But if it's okay, can I over deliver? I'm actually going to give you 20 different ways. So if you're cool with that, give us like a thumbs up in the chat, or you can even use, one of the reaction buttons down there and like it. But what we want to talk about is really just how to get you the best results when it comes to impacting your community, right? To serving the people that you feel you were called to serve. And what we've noticed is, we've been doing this 11 years now. And over these 11 years, a lot of people have come to really put all of their eggs, if you will, in the basket of Meta. And it's just not working the same as what it was. So who is this actually for? This presentation is going to be for chiropractors, which obviously that's, one of the largest professions we serve is chiropractors. And it amazes me that we still get phone calls and still get messages saying, hey, I'm a chiropractor, but we do decompression. Will it work with that? Will it work with neuropathy? Yes, it does. We actually, the first Facebook campaign we ever ran for anybody was neuropathy. Knee pains, weight loss, shockwave, functional medicine, med spas. If you're doing workshops, if you're not doing workshops, you need to be doing workshops. But we've been doing that for years too, just filling dinners with the docs, whether you want to do an in-office talk or talks out in the community. We actually help with that. But this isn't all about what we can do to serve you. It's all these different things that you need to be doing for your practice, whether you're doing all this in-house as far as your team's handling all your marketing for you, or it's something that, you do have another agency that you're working with. These are all the different things that you can be doing to get new patients. But before we get into the heart of everything, I do want to talk a little bit about the truth about Facebook ads, right? What's the truth about Meta? And a lot of people feel it's just stopped working, but that's not actually true. It's just not working the same as it was. And this leaves clients frustrated. It actually leaves us frustrated because, believe it or not, we actually really care. We want you to have the absolute best results that you can when it comes to your marketing efforts. And I just want to kind of share what I feel has happened when it comes to Facebook ads. We've been doing this almost 11 years now. In a couple of months, it'll be 11 years that we've been in business, specifically serving the chiropractic profession all over the world. We've worked with over 2,000 offices. We've actually helped our clients generate over $450 million in revenue. And we've got clients that have been with us 9 years. I don't know if anybody's been with us 10, but I think we've got a few that have been with us 9 years, several tons, 5. And like we love that we have clients that have been with us a long time. But used to, every 5th post on Facebook was sponsored. Now it's every 3rd post, and they're not going to go every other post. So what that means is we are running out of real estate. And the more and more people advertise on Facebook, you're competing with more and more people. If you're like most offices, 75% of your patients, 70 to 75% of your patients are women 35 and older, right? I mean, if you'd agree, give me a thumbs up in the chat or one in the chat or something. But that's typically 70% of most offices of your patient load. So think about this. How many businesses out there are trying to target women 35 and older? Almost all of them. They're the ones that hold the purse strings in the families. Like they're the ones making the majority of the decisions in the families. So it's not just chiropractors that you're having to fight with, or I don't want to say fight with, that are competing. It's all these different businesses are all going after that demographic. And that's why we've seen prices go up and up and up when it comes to cost per leads. Now, we still have clients. We've got one right now that we had a meeting. We have meetings every Monday with the team, and then we share different wins. And one of the team members, Tomas, was talking about one of his clients that had 60 something leads last week. And I think there was like $12 per lead, which is fantastic. Every once in a while, well, even for this presentation, we normally pay $30 to $35 per lead for a webinar when we're marketing to chiropractors. But for this one, we were seeing leads come in. Some of the ads were getting leads for about $6 a piece. So there are ways we can get, cost low, but overall, we're just seeing higher prices. And that's one of the main reasons is because we're seeing so many people, so many more businesses enter in the market. But I want you to think about this. All of your marketing, no matter what it is you're doing, has to build trust. If people know what you do, and they need what you do, they know they need what you do, but they're not coming in, it's simply because they don't trust you. So we talk a lot about best known beats best. You can be the best chiropractor in your town, but if nobody knows about you, then it doesn't matter because people typically go to the best if, or the best known, if the trust is there. So when you're creating any campaigns, when you're sending out emails, when you're doing any of this, when you're doing workshops, are you building trust? So I like to say you want to educate and you want to build trust. And one of the ways you build trust is by showing that you actually care, right? And that's where, when it comes to Facebook ads, that's still the people that are getting the absolute best results are the ones doing content consistently, and it's helping us build trust. So if you break down the anatomy of a Facebook ad, and now listen, I know some of you guys are just not getting on, and the title of this presentation is 12 Ways to Get Patients Without Using Facebook. But I still think it's important that you understand how Facebook works and why it is still important. And then we're going to get into not 12, but 20 different ways outside of Facebook and Instagram to get new patients. So the anatomy of a Facebook ad, there's really just three different things that you want to look at. Number one is the audience. This is simply the pond that you're fishing in. Who are you trying to target? This is why we say don't boost post, because when you boost a post, it's very hard to really dial in that audience. But that's number one, is your audience. And number two is the creative. This is the video. This is the image. This is what gets them to stop the scroll, because they're on their phone and they're scrolling. As I'm getting text messages here, they're scrolling. We want them to stop the scroll. We need to do something that's going to grab their attention at first, and that's where the creative comes in, the videos, the images, whatever. Then they start reading the text, which goes into the messaging. Right? This could be the text of the ad. It could be the headline, or if it's a video, it could be what you're saying. What is it that you're saying? What's the message that you're delivering to your community? It could be, if it's an ad, it could be the offer, the call to action, whatever it is. Those are the three different things. So you have to have, and they're all almost equally important. You have to know exactly who you're targeting. And the better you can stock that pond, the better fish you can get in that pond. And then the more creative you can get, grabbing people's attention. And then when you have the right messaging, it works, period. It just works. And when people don't get good results, and they're not following this script, it is frustrating to us. Now, what's really frustrating, and this does happen, when people are following the script, they're making content, they're doing these things, and sometimes we still don't get results. And that is frustrating. But really, the bottleneck that we see typically is content. We had somebody just yesterday, it may have been Friday, switch services. They went from Facebook to some other services that we do. And we were just internally, anytime somebody drops a service or they switch, we always look to see what was the issue with that other service. And they've been with us for about 9 months. and they've never done any content. Zero. No videos at all whatsoever. So, how can we build trust in that community when that office isn't doing videos? And then they're upset because it didn't work. And they're not terribly upset because they're staying with us. They're just doing different services now because the bottleneck is they didn't want to do content. So there's even stuff we've done to solve for that, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we know that this is an issue. Some people love to do content. Some people don't necessarily love to do it, but they may not be good at it. And then we have some offices that they're just great at it. We've got some very creative clients out there. But as an owner, what I did is I stopped and I thought, okay, what would I do if I was in practice? So if you've never watched any of our trainings, or maybe you're new to Chiro Kennedy or new to me, Billy, and you don't know my story, back in 2007 and 2008, I worked in office for a chiropractor. I was the marketer, right? We were doing yellow page ads back in the day. We were spending like 10 grand a month on one, and I think 7 or 8 grand a month on another yellow page. We had two different phone books in our town. It's just crazy how much people, some of you can raise your hand or comment in the chat if you used to do yellow page ads. I know some of you guys in here are pretty young and you have no idea what a yellow page ad is, but that's how we used to do a lot. I was also out in the community. I was doing our workshops in the community. I did our in-office workshops. Then I started doing our day ones. I started doing our day twos, and I really just fell in love with the profession. And whenever we have a client cancel, uh, it, of course I don't like it. Just like you don't like it whenever a patient cancels. And so I started thinking, what what can we do to really get our clients the absolute best results? So I'm part of a group called Seven Figure Agency. As a matter of fact, those two awards right there are from, and then I've got another one somewhere over there. Uh, they're awards from this group. I've been in about 6 years, and I'm one of the leaders. I'm one of the mentors in the group. And I think as of last week, there's like 348 agencies from all over the world in this group. Now, very few of them, believe it or not, are just lead generation agencies like paid ads, Facebook and Google, which historically that's been our two main things we've done is Facebook ads and Google ads. But a lot of these agencies do all kinds of other things. So as I've had the opportunity over the past 5 or 6 years to really help in the group and help mentor some of these people and be mentored by some of these people, I've learned a lot about SEO, about websites, about all these other things. And bringing this back full circle, I sat down and started thinking, okay, these are literally my notes from the notes section in my iPad. I had my little Apple pencil and was just writing all kinds of stuff. And I thought, okay, what would I do if I wanted to grow a practice? And the outcome of that led to this training. And so we're going to cover 20 different things you need to be doing. Now, some of you aren't doing, you're only doing one or two of these things. But when you look at all of this, you're there's no way your clinic's not going to grow if you start implementing these strategies. So if you're taking notes, great. If not, don't worry about it because at the end, I'm going to give you this download for free. Now, I know I said I'm going to talk about 20 different things, and there's 22 on here. The reason there's 22 on the checklist is because Facebook and Instagram are added to this. So you're going to be able to download this at the end. I'm going to give you the link to that. And it's just a great thing for you to check off and see what you're doing, what you need to be doing, what's going to get you the best results. So the first part we're going to talk about is the search ecosystem. What's great about looking at the search ecosystem? So first we have SEO, which is search engine optimization. What's powerful about this is when you're marketing, you want to be able to get your message in front of the people that are looking for your services. And that's what this is. Now, it amazes me how many people don't do anything when it comes to search engine optimization. Um, how many of you, if you can, you want to comment or put a one in the chat if you do personal injury? A lot of offices out there. I know different states have different. It's more beneficial to do personal injury in some states. We used to do some personal injury, and I understand why some offices they just don't want to do personal injury. I get that also. But last week we were in Miami, and I actually got to speak at our seven-figure agency event. But we had on a couple of speakers there that ran SEO agencies for personal injury attorneys. Some of these offices are spending $30,000 to $50,000 a month, not on their ad spend, just on their service fees to these agencies. And then they're paying their ad spend on top of that. So as a chiropractic office, when you're competing against these attorneys, it is so difficult. I'm going to talk here in a little bit about some strategies that you can use to go around that to get personal injury leads very inexpensively. But it was just amazing. Some of the biggest agencies in the country, this is the point of me bringing this up, all they do is search engine optimization. Because when it comes down to it, when somebody goes to Google or they go to AI now and they type in whatever your service is, are you showing up? So search engine optimization is something everybody here needs to be focused on. What you focus on grows. Some of you have been ignoring it way too long. But SEO is still important for AI search because where do you think ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini, where do you think they're getting their information? They're getting their information from SEO, from Google. But what happens here is it's very important on how your website is structured, which hang on, need to approve somebody here in Zoom. But what goes back to this is your website. I was speaking in an event this weekend. So in last week, I was in Miami for this marketing agency mastermind we did. And then the weekend, I was actually at a chiropractic event. And one of the things I said whenever I was speaking is, if I was blindfolded and went to your office and was standing in the middle of your office and took the blindfolds off, what year would I think it was? Some of your offices are stuck in 1987, right? Your office needs to look modern. It needs to look great. And you know what else needs to look great? Your website. I've been doing more calls with clients lately, and we always pull up their websites, and it amazes me how many people their websites are so dated. This is your brand. When people do make it to your site, like you're spending money and resources and things to get traffic to your site. And then if your website looks old and dated, that says a lot about your practice, right? People are going to judge a book by its cover. There's a scripture that says, man looks on the outside, but God looks on the inside. And people are like, yeah, well, what really matters is what's on the inside and how well we serve and all this. Okay, I get it. But you know what? People are going to take a look at the outside. So you want your office to look great. You want your website to be modern, and it has to be conversion ready, right? It has to be optimized for AI search and SEO search. And then you have Google Maps. Outside of your website, I actually think Google Maps might be the most important thing you can focus on. Because right now, even though people are still using AI search, the majority of the people are going to Google and they're typing you in. And the Google Maps listing, the 3-pack, that is the most prime real estate on the internet, is that right there. I actually think this might be the most important thing you can focus on. Because if you get listed in Maps, then they go to your Google business profile, which is GBP, your Google business profile. They've changed the name of this a couple of times over the years. It used to be Google My Business. And then you also have Google Ads, right? So these are 6 things that all have to do with the search ecosystem. You want to be found where people are already looking for your help, right? These are the the six things you need to be doing focused on that. And then after that, we have intent and retargeting. Now, if you haven't paid attention to any of our training over the past 7 or 8 months, we actually, a year ago, we started doing training on AI. And I think I've done 5 or 6 trainings on AI. And I will say this about AI. We we do a lot when it comes to AI. I'm actually partners in a business called HireZim AI. We have full stack AI developers that we actually place in companies, but they also work for Cairo Candy. Like we've had them build out some unbelievable AI automations, not just like voice AI and the chat bots, things like that, but actually automations. So we're really staying ahead of the curve on that. Like I said, last October was the first AI presentation we did, but we started doing invisible intent. Now, this is a software which might be one of the most powerful software, one of the most powerful things we do. Like I said, Google Maps is unbelievably important, but here's what invisible intent does. So you're doing SEO. You've got people going to your site, but studies show that only 5 to 7% of the people that go to your site actually take action, call and schedule an appointment or whatever. Well, with invisible intent, we can capture site visitors. Anyone that goes to your website, we actually capture their physical address, their emails, right? Any emails associated with that IP address, their phone numbers, and then we can retarget them. We can retarget them. We can send them direct mail, things like that, which I'll talk about in a minute. And that's one part of invisible intent is the site visitors. And then the second part is the search intent. So what happens is clients can give us, if you're using invisible intent. So I know a lot of people on this the presentation, which right now we have 63 people on live. We had almost right at 200 people register for this, and I know a lot of them are current clients. If you're a current client, you get access to invisible intent. It's just part of the services. We don't charge extra for it. If you're not using it, get with your rep because this is so powerful. So you got the site visitors we talked about, and then the search intent. So with search intent, what happens is you give us a list of zip codes. You know your ideal client, you know your area. What are the zip codes that your ideal patients are in? And then give us a list of keywords. Now, a lot of times we know the keywords, but if there's certain things you want us to look for, when someone in those zip codes search those keywords, just like site intent or site visitors, we capture all their info, their name, phone numbers, emails, anything associated with that IP address. We actually purchase that. So it is a little more work on the back end, but they never have to go to your website. So people in your community are searching for a chiropractor or searching for weight loss or whatever it is, whatever services you do, they search that in those zip codes. You get notified, you get their information. You can tie that directly into your Facebook audience. So a couple hours later, they start getting Instagram and Facebook ads from you, and they never even went to your site. Then you send them a direct mail piece. You send them a postcard. There's all kinds of stuff. You can email them, put them in an email sequence, all kinds of things you can do. So invisible intent has those two main columns underneath that umbrella is the site visitors and search intent. And then after that, we have the retargeting, which I talked about. You want to be able to retarget everywhere you can. If there's someone, think about this. If there's someone in your community looking for your services, we want them to start seeing you everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. We want them to get a direct mail piece from you, right? Whether that's just a postcard, you can send a series of postcards out very, very inexpensively, which that's where the direct mail piece comes in. And then we have something new that we're doing is streaming TV. We can retarget people that are searching for you in your community. We can retarget those people on streaming TV. Now, when I first started looking into this, I got with a lot of people in our mastermind and said, look, this is what we're wanting to do. And I was able to talk with the top companies in the country that do streaming TV. And what's amazing is not only can we retarget, somebody goes to your website, and now we can show them a video, an ad on TV. Now, my first thought, and some of you may be like this, I thought, I don't watch commercials. I don't get commercials. So we do stream TV, and studies show that almost 89% of households, at least here in the US, and I know we have clients in other countries, but 89% of the households are streaming television. Now, like I said, we don't watch commercials. If there's an option to pay $5 more to not see commercials, I'm paying $5 more. But Nielsen's just came out with a report with a study showing that of the people who stream TV, 75% of them don't pay the upcharge to not see commercials. So 75% of those households are still streaming TV and seeing commercials. But if you wanted to only target cooking shows in your, in certain zip codes, or just retarget, or you just wanted when somebody's watching the news there locally and they're streaming it, we can show them your ads. There's so much stuff we can do with that. And then we also have streaming radio, Pandora, Spotify. I actually used to think that this was like big nationwide campaigns. No, we can target very, very granularly specific people that you want to target. So let's go back to the invisible intent and retargeting. Somebody searches for a chiropractor near me. A couple hours later, they start seeing your ads on Facebook and Instagram. A couple of days later, they get a postcard in the mail. They turn on the TV that night and they're watching whatever, and they see a commercial from you. They're on their way to the gym or they're at the gym listening to Spotify. They hear a radio ad from you. And you can do all this for a minimal budget. Those of you who used to spend money on Yellow Pages back in the day are probably some of the same people that used to actually spend money on TV ads back then too. It was expensive because we couldn't just target a handful of people. We were targeting huge communities with our fingers crossed, hoping that enough people that were our ideal patients would see those and then respond. So what happens is now we can do that for a minimal budget. Where, think about that. If you were doing all these things, how are you not going to grow? How are you not going to have new patients almost every single day lining up? Because every time they turn around, they can't help but see you. TikTok still works incredibly well. And I'll tell you this, the people that are getting the best results with TikTok are those who are also posting regularly on their platform, right? They do regular content on TikTok. Then whenever we run TikTok ads, it just outperforms any other thing we do on TikTok when you're also doing that. And then even YouTube ads, right? Showing the same videos. This is great for retargeting and branding. All of these are really, well, especially the streaming TV, streaming radio, and YouTube are ideal for retargeting and just brand awareness. And then we have, how do you build authority, right? Because like we said at the very beginning, your marketing should do two things. It should educate and build trust. So one of the best ways to build trust is through your reviews. What you focus on grows. I was talking to somebody this weekend. They've been in practice almost 20 years. I pulled up their information. They had 24 reviews. They've been in practice for a long time. Is there only 24 people that like them? No, they have hundreds, if not thousands of people who love them, but they just haven't focused on reviews. It's so simple to integrate this into your SOPs, into your processes, especially like after their day two. Everybody should be asked for them to write a review. Referrals. If you get a new patient, their spouse should be coming in. Their kids should be coming in. Their coworkers should be coming in. You've got to have systems to ask for referrals. Social media post, right? We have a program where we can actually post on all your social media platforms from your Google business profile, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything, every day. every day. Now, it's not that this is going to flood your office with new patients, but the more active you are, just like what I talked about TikTok earlier, the more active you are on TikTok, the better your TikTok ads perform. The same thing on social media. The more active you are, it's just like these platforms reward you for being active. So, when's the last time you've posted on social media? And then in-office workshops. So a lot of this isn't new. It's not groundbreaking strategies. Now, some of them are, like the invisible intent, the streaming TV, streaming radio. I mean, let's admit those are really cool things we can do now. But a lot of this stuff, you guys know you need to be doing it. You just aren't doing it, right? You should be doing at least a monthly in-office workshop, and then workshops out in the community. We have a lot of clients that are doing this, and we've actually done marketing for this for a long time. Dinners with the docs, just community events. These work incredibly well, right? People love stuff like this, and it is a fantastic way for you to get several new clients or new patients in one shot, right? Instead of doing a lot of one-on-one marketing, it's one to many, and they work incredibly well. And then you have partnerships, right? You should have partnerships with the different physicians in your community, the different gyms, the different nutritionists. You should have referral relationships with all these people. One of the things we started doing when I worked in office, this was back in 2007 and 2008. Can you believe 2007 was almost 20 years ago now? But we had on our intake form, we added, we asked who their physician was. Who's your PCP? And then what we would do after the day two, our doctors, our chiropractors would actually reach out to the office, and give them a report on, hey, you had this patient come in, and this is the info, like this is just a report. And next thing you know, we had several doctors in the community that used to never refer. Some of them didn't even like chiropractic, but they saw what we were doing and they loved how we were taking care of their patients. So they started sending us referrals, right? The same thing. Think about who is it that's already serving your patients, and how could you build relationships with these people where you can refer people back and forth, right? You want to become the best known and most trusted provider in your market, and you just need to focus on this, right? So that was the 20 different things you can do. And then like I said, if you add Facebook and Instagram, then it's going to be, 22. But if you haven't guessed this already, Cairo Candy is now a full service marketing agency. We do everything from SEO to, which I'll talk about that here in a second. But this goes back to my work with Seven Figure Agency. I've been doing research, building the best behind the scenes team that I could when it comes to all these different services, because we really do care. We really want the best results for our clients. And knowing everything I know about marketing, what is it I would do to grow a practice right now? And I just started listing all the stuff out. And that's where we came up with all of this. Number one, you've got to have a great website. We now do custom websites. Now we can do template websites also, but we do custom websites. And we actually have packages now where you get a custom website included in the package. It's no extra fee. And so what is a custom website? A custom website is you go out, you find a couple of websites that you like, you show it to us, our team designs it in Photoshop. We're not looking for templates. We're designing it based on sites that you've shown us that you like. We design it in Photoshop, the homepage. We go back and forth with you. Once you say, this is perfect, I love it, then at speed, the team builds out all the back end stuff. So we now do custom websites. And if you've known us, whenever we first started doing Facebook ads, back in the day, almost 11 years ago, we were only charging $500 a month. Then we went to $595, and even still, we had a program recently where if you prepaid for 4 months, you still got Facebook for $595. We're offering the same services that a lot of these other agencies were charging $1,500 to $2,000 a month for. We were charging a fraction of. So as I go through all this stuff, we wanted to still keep our prices unbelievably competitive. Now, I say this a lot. Don't get me wrong. We want to get as much money from you as we can, but I'm totally okay if we spread that out over 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 years, right? 10 years, whatever it is. So we do custom websites, SEO. We can do an SEO audit, even an AI audit. If you schedule a call with our team, we can actually sit down and do an audit. We can look at your website, we can look at all this stuff, but we can show you currently, right now, how you are ranking in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, all these different these AI search platforms. We can show you exactly where you're ranking currently and what we need to be working on to get that up. Okay. Now, granted, right now, most people are still using Google, but we know that we're going to see that switch, especially now that ChatGPT just released Atlas. You gotta love the name Atlas, right? But that's ChatGPT's new browser. So you're gonna see more and more people do that. Google Maps. I cannot stress this enough. This might be one of the most, like, if you only had one thing that you can focus on right now, let's say that you're kind of in a pinch and you need new patients, you have a very, very limited budget. You need to focus on Google Maps because when people are searching for you, especially on Google, this is the first place that they're going to find you. And so I think that's incredibly important. Your Google business profile, that's normally the second place. Then they go to your website. Streaming TV. Guys, you can do streaming TV for around 20 bucks a day. It's incredible how affordable it can be. And we can get very, very granular on our targeting and even the cold audiences we're going after. We can get very, very specific on the targeting. AI voice. This is something we've talked a lot about. We can do AI voice has two parts. It has inbound, so it can actually answer the calls in your office and then either find out one, are they an existing patient? Are they a new patient? If they're an existing patient, are they just trying to, get something scheduled or change their schedule? Or are they a new patient trying to get scheduled or answer some questions about insurance or whatever? You can train it just like you would a team member. And it can be trained to, if it needs to, it'll transfer the person to a live call. But think about right now, your front desk, they're busy doing all kinds of things. We put so much work on our front desk. Some of you CAs right now are saying, preach. They may be engaged in doing some project and then the phone rings and like they lose momentum because they have to answer the phone. And how well are they answering the phone? Because sometimes they didn't sleep well the night before, or they had a fight with their spouse or their boyfriend, or they're not feeling well. So they don't even always handle the phone calls. And you know this, doctors, if you're listening to this, you know I'm right. Some of them aren't consistent in how they're handling all the phone calls. And let's face it, every single call needs to be looked at. It's valued at close to $10,000 because you have to look at what it is for that patient, like what could they be, what's their lifetime value, and then the referrals that could come from them. Like there's a lot there. And then if that call's not handled properly or that call is missed, think about this. Somebody goes online, they look for a chiropractor, they find you, they call, no one answers. What are they going to do? They're calling the next person on the list. So it's incredibly important that we capture their attention right there so they're not going anywhere else, right? Because if they do go anywhere else, it's not just that patient or that potential new patient you lost. You also lost any referrals that they may send. And now that office has more income where they can spend more on marketing to go out and get even more business in the future. So every single patient is extremely valuable. And then AI voice also we can do outbound calls as well to like verify appointments and things like this. Done for you video shoots. We know not all of you or want to do videos, but you need to do videos. We can actually send out a professional videographer to your office. We do a 3 to 4 hour shoot. We give them a list of what all they need to do. They'll get a bunch of B-roll. They get some talking head videos from you, ideally some testimonials you can get set up that day. And this is normally 90 to 120 days worth of content that we get to use. You get to use on your website, all your social media stuff, all of your marketing assets. We can get from that, especially the B-roll, because then we can use AI to come up with really good scripts, and we do voiceovers over B-roll for your audience. And now we're able to dig those ponds of retarget. We talked about earlier, digging the ponds. We can build retargeting audiences of people who are watching these videos. So we now do done for you video shoots, review boost. This is something that we set up. It's just part of our automation. So when a new patient comes in, as long as you guys are doing your parts, there's an automation where it automatically sends them a text message after their day. Typically it's after their day 2, asking them for a review. There's more stuff that we do, but I think, okay, here we go. Daily social post. There's even more stuff, but the point here is we now are full service. We're not just Facebook ads. We're not just Google ads. We can do all kinds of stuff for you. So Ben's going to put this link in the chat, but for you to get this 22-point checklist, go to CaroKandy.com/22-list. He just dropped that in there. So that's where you go. You don't have to opt in for it. It'll take you straight to the Google Drive where you can just download this. And I encourage you to download it. And ideally, you want to check off as many things as possible, because the more things on here you have checked, the greater opportunity you have for your business to get new patients, right? Which is what you want to do. You want to serve more people. But after that, schedule a call, right? Schedule a call. I'm doing a lot of these calls now. Our team's still doing the calls as well. But just go to CaroKandy.com/schedule. And what I would like to see us do is have a call. If you're a current client and you want to look at doing other services, reach out to your account rep and we can get something scheduled. If you're working with other people right now, like whatever, we will sit down with you. Basically, we're going to do a day 1. We're going to do an exam of what you're doing right now, what you're doing for all your marketing. And one of the great things about like some of these things, there's a lot of stuff on here, no ad spends required. So you do have to pay for some of the services, but you don't have to pay extra for ad spend on a lot of this stuff. And like I said, even the website, we have a program where your website, like a couple of the packages, you get a custom website included, no extra charge at all. So what we would do is we're going to sit down, we're going to do an AI audit for you. We'll look at how you're ranking SEO wise, and just to see what would be where you're at, what your budget is, what's going to be the best thing we can do ideally to get all of these things working, where somebody's searching for you, you just show up everywhere, because best known beats best, right? But we also want to do everything we can to build trust in all that we do for you. We want to be building trust in your community, because that's what's going to increase your show rate. It's going to get people to refer more people to you, things like that. You're going to have better reviews whenever you can do everything you can in your marketing to build trust. So go to CaroKandy.com/schedule, schedule a call with me or the team, and let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do to get you new patients. Even if you haven't had luck with Facebook recently, you don't even have to do Facebook. There's other things we can do. And we still have programs where if you wanted to a la carte it, kind of like a buffet, you know what, these are the services that I would like to do. We can even work that out for you as well. But look, thank you for your time. We have been going, let's see, what time is it right now? Very good, 45 minutes. So not quite as short as some we've done, but definitely not as long as some we've done as well. So thank you so much for your time. Schedule a call with the team, CaroKandy.com/schedule. Let's help you build trust, get new patients, grow your practice, and impact your community. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.